6 days till how do you even say that? Hi guys, it's Michelle. So I think I want to start this video by saying that I never know where a video is going to go when I start recording. I have an idea about what I want to talk about, and then wherever my little brain goes, that's where the conversation goes. And I don't watch these videos before I download them or upload them to Google Drive, in which case once they're downloaded, uploaded, the guy who's editing my videos for me, I love him so much, David, edits them and then puts them on YouTube. So you really get me and all of my unedited version. Anyways, I got a question. I had posted a picture of my pack for the trail, and my pack is covered, like you saw in the last video, with flags from the places that I've traveled. And I posted a picture on the Appalachian Trail Women's Group Facebook page, and I got a question. Somebody wanted me to do a video about my patches and kind of my experience traveling and give you some stories behind some of these places that I went. But I want to say first, I think, before I even start that I'm so in love with the women's group. So if you are thinking about hiking or thinking about doing the trail, definitely join that group. There's nothing that I believe in more than women empowering women. And it's super important to me. It's a huge passion of mine. I think the reason that I do these videos, one, because I don't know, they're kind of interesting to me just to document my life, but more importantly, and something that I've had a passion for many, many years, and a lot of women who know me know this, but I really want to inspire women to take huge risk. I want people to look at me and say it can be done. It's really important to me. I think society tends to put women in a box, and they should be moms, and they should be wives, and they should be workers, but they should never be risk takers. And I think women should be badass risk takers. We are goddesses, and we all have beauty in us, and we should really showcase that in the things that we do and the risks that we take. And it doesn't matter what that risk looks like to you. It's going to be a very different risk than me. I think I tend to push the limits much further than I think a lot of people do, men even, but that's just my personality and me in general. But I'm willing to risk everything for something that I believe in, whether it be love, an adventure, my children, anything like that. So I am a mom. I have two daughters, 19 and 17. I did leave to travel the world solo after getting off the trail in 2015, and that was a very difficult decision for me, and I got some slack for it from other women, but mostly I think people understood. I was at a place in my life that I wasn't able to give back any kind of proper love and attention because I didn't feel it for myself. And so when I left, when I got off the trail in 2015 and I left to explore the world, I really found a deep inner peace in myself, and was able to deal with a lot of childhood issues, you know, the typical mommy issues, daddy issues, not being good enough issues, not having any worth, all of those things. I found a lot of inner peace traveling, and so I believe that in doing that, I became a better mom. I think my kids would say that too. I've never been I have been a stay-at-home mom. I've never been though the homework mom or the cook dinner mom. I really haven't been. And to those women who do that, I am so thankful for my children's stepmom, because she was that kind of mom. And so I think that they've got the best of both worlds, a crazy mom who takes wild chances and shows them to reach for their dreams and their goals, and the other kind of mom, your more traditional mom who stays home and takes care of the house and stuff like that. And so whatever kind of parent you are, I think you're amazing. I think women are amazing. I think women are amazing. We're goddesses, and we should expect to be treated and loved and cherished as such. And I had no idea that was going there. But okay, anyway, in the women's group, join it if you haven't joined it, because it's super, everybody is so supportive, and that's what we all need, right? A little extra support at all times. So anyways, I got asked about my patches and asked if I would say a couple stories from the patches, but I wouldn't even have these flags on my backpack had it not been for the trail. In 2015, in April of 2015, I got divorced. I had a very short marriage, 2 years, and it didn't work out, and so be it. But we had planned to walk in June of that year, the first 100 miles or so of the trail, of the Appalachian Trail. So I decided to go ahead and go solo, which I had no idea was going to change my life, completely alter my life from going this way to that way almost immediately. I'm pretty sure my family and friends would call that trip pretty life-changing. I'm not even sure they recognize me. So far from I was a Republican, now I'm way liberal. Everything about me has changed, and I'm definitely more in tune with who I am as a human. But I think in society, you have a lot of faces that you put on. And so you have a face at work, and you have a face in front of your kids, and you have a face for your spouse or your lover or boyfriend or significant other. And I think on the trail, a lot of those faces are shed. And you just are down to your basic who you are. Some people want to talk about gear and whose is better and lighter and blah, 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 blah. And honestly, I could give two I don't care. It's not that big of a deal. No offense to those who really care. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, to me, it doesn't matter. It's gear. If it breaks, it's going to break. It's material items, and those things are very unimportant to me. But the idea is that everything you need to survive, you're carrying in this pack on your back. And so a lot of the pretenses of, oh, I have this and you don't, or I need to go get that to meet up with the neighbor, or I have to have this kind of car because so-and-so has this kind of car, my house needs to be bigger. All of that stuff becomes irrelevant, and you can really get down to kind of the essence of who you are, which I think is why the trail is so damn magical. Let's be honest, because it's exhausting to live in society. It's exhausting. From a child, I've always been kind of different. I've always been a hippie. I've always kind of run with the odd crowd. I've always kind of run solo, but if I had friends, they were kind of the odd people, which is great. Whatever. I have friends. I love all my friends, even if you're not weird and you go into society, which is most of my friends now, but that's okay. They just think I'm really weird. Nonetheless, I got off the trail and I hiked the first 100 miles from Springer Mountain. No, I didn't hike the steps. I took the short way, but I only had a week. So I'm going to hike the steps this time. No worries. But I hiked from Springer Mountain to right after Albert Mountain. So it was about 101 miles until I got off the trail. And I walked that in 6 days. I learned, oh my God, I learned that I was living such a false life. None of it matched with who I was. And I think that's what caused so much chaos in my spirit and in my soul, was I wasn't living in a way that matched who I was. And that created a lot of self-doubt. It created feelings of unworthiness and all of these, feelings that I couldn't even I didn't know how to deal with, because I didn't know what the hell was wrong. I just knew I wasn't happy. So I did get off the trail and I went back to St. Louis. I had a job at a public relations firm that I really enjoyed. And I had a 2-story, 4-bedroom, huge house. And it wasn't my life. I realized I realized almost immediately, I walked back into my house and I was so overwhelmed with stuff. And I realized I had been working at this job to earn money, to buy the stuff, to fill the house that I wasn't even happy in. And so I immediately started selling everything. I think my family thought I was going off the deep end, and maybe I was. It turned out pretty swell, I think. But I put my house up for sale. It sold within like 2 days. I sold my car. I quit my job. And I took the money that I had and I went and traveled. And I went to 10 countries. I started in Belize, actually with somebody who I had met on the trail. Though that didn't work out, I really appreciated the things that he brought back to me. You know, he reminded me that I was a traveler and that it was okay to live that lifestyle, and that, you know, stepping outside of society is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it's a very good thing. But even though that didn't work, the lessons that he reminded me of were very significant, and I really do treasure that brief relationship. But I did go to Belize and Guatemala with him, and then when we split up, I came back to the States for about 2 weeks and kind of organized what I was going to need to then travel around the world. I knew I wasn't going to come back anytime soon, and I took my bag and the things that I thought I was going to need, and I got a flight to Australia, and I spent 5 months in Australia. I spent actually 90 days because that was my visa, and then went to Bali in Indonesia and went around Indonesia, which was amazing, and learned to surf in Indonesia. That's one of my favorite stories out of Indonesia, was learning to be a surfer girl. I met some Finnish girls there who are still very close friends of mine, and I know I'll travel with them again soon. But I ended up getting most of these flags. I had gone a few places before, but most of these flags during that 15 months, I just came back to the States in January of 2017. So I was just going to show you the patches and just give you I'll pick a couple and just tell you like kind of my favorite points on there. So I started in Belize. This actually has no order how it ended up, but Belize, obviously I'm from America. This patch actually used to be in the middle, but as a single female traveling, it's kind of no longer safe, in my opinion, to say that you're from the United States. And so I moved it over and matched it with Canada, because sometimes I like to pretend I'm from Canada, eh? I'm not. But, and I needed more space. So obviously the United States, France, I did not go to during that year. I had been before. Indonesia, I went to Bali and the Gili Islands, and spent 3 weeks there in Ubud, which was super amazing. One great thing about Indonesia, or mostly I think Southeast Asia countries, are you get to stay in family homes. Or if you don't want to stay in a hostel, you can stay in a family home, which is really lovely. And so that's a way that families make money there. They have little compounds, and you can stay in the home as a guest. And so that's really a cool thing there. Turkey, I actually lived in Turkey for 2 years when I was married to my children's dad. Australia, if you've never been to Australia, you should definitely go. It's like America, but super chill, and the people are so hysterical. It's amazing. It really is very similar to the States as far as freedoms, ability to move around, all of that stuff. But they are super funny, and they are just chill. Like, I think they're like on a constant marijuana high. Like, they're just the chillest people I've ever met. Oh, Canada, Guatemala, England. You know, England is way too much like the States. It was probably my least favorite place to go, and simply because how many castles can you see, for God's sakes? I mean, and it rains. It's beautiful. And I went to see Stonehenge, which was super amazing. So that was pretty cool. My God, it's way too like America. If you like culture and you like to see different things, England is not your country to go to. Luxembourg is super cool. I really would actually like to go back and explore Luxembourg more. I would like to hike in Luxembourg. Puerto Rico, I just recently went to this year with my daughter. We actually had to get evacuated before the hurricane hit. I don't remember which one. It was the first one. Anyways, we were there the night before it hit, and we were on one of the last flights off the island. And then Denmark, go to Denmark. It is super cool. And get a bike and just bike around. I love Denmark. Vatican City, I took my kids to. In Italy, I took my kids to. These were both prior trips, but super amazing. Florence is probably one of my favorite cities, minus Helsinger, however you want to pronounce it, in Denmark. This year I went to Germany and spent a week in Berlin, which was super awesome. Jamaica was where I went on my honeymoon to my second husband. Poland. If you are in a relationship and you feel like you want to go travel somewhere super romantic, go to Poland. Warsaw and Krakow, Gdansk, all super amazing places to go. Poland is awesome. And I went to Auschwitz, which was, wow, I forgot about that until I just started talking about it. Auschwitz is, you should go once in your life. You should go and experience how horrible it was, and how we should never ever repeat that, ever. There should never be a national registry. Never. Sorry, that's my little political thing. Norway, because my best friend who I met in Australia, when I was traveling there, I fell head over heels in love with this Norwegian guy. And it didn't work out, but we remained best friends, and I talked to him every day. So I wanted to go to Oslo, and I spent a month there just to see where he grew up and lived. And Thailand was probably one of my favorite places. One, the street food is so amazing. Like, hello, like, they just cook pad thai on the street right there. Like, I mean, it's amazing. And I ate crickets. If you can get over it. That's really nice. But Thailand is super cool. When I first got to Phuket, which was my last stop in Thailand and my least favorite, I think that's way too touristy. But when I got to Phuket, which is where I was flying out of, and I got there on a ferry coming from Koh Lanta, the island Koh Lanta. And I thought I would easily be able to find a bus to get me to the other side of the little area, Phuket. I don't know. It wasn't where my hostel was. And so I started walking with my backpack. And then I had dreads. I used to have dreads. And there was a Rasta bar. And there was these two guys standing out there with dreads. And they were like, hey, do you need a ride? And I was like, yes, I really did need a ride. And this is the first time I've ever like hitchhiked or asked somebody for a ride. And they had a little motorbike. So I got on the motorbike with this pack, and the guy, he kept trying to kiss me. He kept saying, oh, I really like you. And he was like, would like turn his head to try to kiss me. And all I could think of was like, please, just watch the road. I thought I was gonna die because this guy just kept trying to give me a kiss, but he did safely deliver me to my hostel. It was super nice, but I really didn't want to die on a moped with some guy I didn't know trying to kiss me. But that's my funny story out of Thailand. But and then I just recently put my AT patch on. One of my triathlete friends gave me this patch when I was going to my 100-mile hike 2 years ago, and I've had it ever since, and so I finally stitched it onto my bag. And so that was David. Thank you. In my previous life in St. Louis, I was an Ironman triathlete, so it's kind of hard to sell because it's like in water, but I have an MDOT. I've completed 2 Ironman triathlons, so I have a lot of still of my friends who do triathlons, and I know they're cheering me on this like massive long distance hike. So So that's kind of my adventure and why I have all of these flags on my pack. And I just keep adding them. I don't collect souvenirs from all of these places I go because I don't like things. Like, things tie you down, and I don't want to be tied down. I want to see the world and I want to experience things. And so I pick up a patch or a flag, and then I can sew it on my bag, and then I can look at it and remember stories from where I've been. And you know, it's nice to be able to remember friends that I've made in certain places just by looking at this small little patch. They each mean something to me. You know, every place I go adds to my experience and to my journey, and it makes me a better human. And so that's kind of the story behind the patches. Let's see, we are at 6 days? 6 days till Lizzie and Matthew and I hit the trail at how do you even say that? Amicalola Falls. And if you aren't part of the women's group, go and join, because women who love women and women who lift up other women and women who inspire and treat other women well have a damn special place in heaven. So go and be more loving to your girlfriends and lift other women up. So important. Okay, so I hope I inspire you some on this trail or on this journey, and some of my videos will be humorous and make you want to take a risk. And if any of that happens and you think, I'm gonna try something because Michelle said go take a risk, I would love to know about it. I get people who tell me that because of me they've tried something, and that is something that motivates me to keep going and keep doing things that are important to me and are special to me on my journey, if it helps others find their way on their journey. And so that's all I got in this video. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love you all, and 6 days. I always want to do that. 6 days.